Welcome to T.O.A. Storytellers. My name is Todd Olivas, and I'm joined today with Rick Castro.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rick. On this podcast, in addition to being a court reporting agency, we bring you work comp news and interviews like today, so you can be informed about what's happening in the work comp industry and hear amazing stories directly from the mouths of the luminaries themselves. This podcast is sponsored by Todd Olivas and Associates Court Reporting. If you have a deposition, please give us a chance. We've been in business for 19 years. We treat our clients like family, and we don't let family down. You can check us out at www.toddolivas.com. In addition to court reporting, of course, we also offer CEU and MCLE education. And, why does a court reporting agency offer education? We offer it as a way of trying to differentiate our services from our competitors by offering uncommon value to the industry. I had to pose for a picture right there. Uncommon value to the industry. That's what we're trying to do with this. So in other words, if you need a court reporting agency, or CEUs or MCLEs, please check us out at toddolivas.com for our latest ventures. Or if you just want to listen to this podcast, leave us a kind review. That's much appreciated. Okay, on with today's show, we have an alumnus of the T.O.A. Storytellers podcast, meaning this guest first appeared on episode number 23. This will be episode 60. So episode 23 back in January of 2020. January 28th, 2020.
Was it? Wow.
A whole lifetime ago, basically. At that time, he was director of workers' compensation at Orion Risk Management, which was after working pretty much everywhere, like State Fund, AIG, Sedgwick, and the Wittich Group. Today, though, he is the director of claims and partner at Modern Rain Insurance Brokers. He's a HIRMA board member, founder of Work Comp Blitz, consultant, Work Comp Ninja, ultimate client advocate, CompLaud award winner, Power Connector. He's bilingual, devilishly handsome, and
Wow.
throws great backyard parties. My friend, Mr. Josh Diggs.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, Josh.
Wow. Now that is an introduction, gents. Thank you.
I love it, dude.
I'm fired up.
I'm fired up too.
How many breaths did you have to take to say all that?
Dude,
Jeez.
I did all in one breath.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was just my test. This time I'll record it. Okay.
No, yeah, right.
Love it.
No, dude, Josh, welcome, dude. Welcome back.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
So it's been 2 years, almost to the date, to the month. But 2 years ago, we had you on our podcast and got to know you over the last couple of years and have appreciated just amazing journey that you have been on and seeing you grow and grow and grow and kick ass. And so, dude, we're just grateful that you would come in today to talk about what's the latest and greatest about what's going on. So how have you been?
Wow. No, I appreciate you guys having me back. It's crazy that it's been 2 years already and so much has happened and everyone is grown so much since then. And I feel like there's just been a ton of activity and energy, and of course, a lot of craziness since then. But, we're rocking and rolling, man. Things are, well, I say looking up, but it's always been looking up. Mm-hmm. And we're just on the precipice of some awesome things, and we're doing some really cool things. And so it's just, I'm just grateful to be here. So
yeah, dude. Hey, talk about, Modern Rain. First of all, what's the name? Where'd that name come from? And then what you do and like how did it kind of evolve and morph into?
Sure. So Modern Rain Insurance Brokers, Zach Brown, my partner, and I opened it up 6 months ago, actually yesterday.
Whoa.
So we had our half birthday, I guess you can call it. But Modern Rain just basically means new rule, right? I think it was, that's the big thing is that, Zach and I, it was important for us to kind of pave our own way in this industry. And, we had some challenges at each kind of stage along the way, but we felt it was time for a new rule. It was time for us to start our own thing, to be kind of masters of our destiny and to create our own path and to do the things that we wanted to do, right? And with no one kind of dictating, any terms, and we are now in that position to do things the way that we want to do, the way that, to invest in technology, to do all the things that we've always wanted to have happen, but now we can control all those aspects.
Absolutely.
So that's what it means. Modern Rain means new rule.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that a lot, dude. With whatever you can say, did you feel like stifled a little bit at Orion? Maybe not stifled is the right word, but just in order to grow to the next levels for you guys, that meant jumping ship. And
yeah, well, look, I think we had an awesome time there. We had some amazing opportunities. We grew a lot. Financially, we did really well. But really, it's there was red tape there. And in any organization, when you're not the top and you're not, you have to run things by people, to hire people, or to do these things, to consider, CRM systems or technology, whatever it is, if there's layers that you have to go through, then those can be obstacles. And so we wanted to be able to create their own path, and that's something that Zach and I ultimately, when we first met several years ago and teamed up, and we knew that we complemented each other well, and that we had the strengths to do these kinds of things. That was always part of our goal, is to eventually get to the point where we create our own empire, and I feel like we're now in a position to do that.
I love that, dude. What makes you and Zach such good partners, you think?
Man, he is. You
guys are wildly different personalities.
Yes. And I think that's part of it, is we just complement each other's strengths really well. He's a fantastic visionary, business astute, kind of just the ultimate big picture thinker, pushing everyone to think outside the box and to not accept the norm, or this is the way it's always been done. I mean, just tearing down those walls. And so that's forced me to grow a lot over the last 5, 6, 7 years, and so that's been really critical for my mindset and my growth. And then I'm the door opener. I'm the relationship guy. I'm the guy to find how we get to what his vision is, right? And so we kind of work together and collaborate on that. He's absolutely big picture. I'm more detail oriented. And so, but ultimately, we trust each other. We're hard on each other in that, we question each other to make sure that we're doing, the right thing. We're all pulling in the right direction ultimately. But that ability to kind of challenge each other, to push each other, and really trust each other is huge.
That's great, dude. It's kind of like a marriage, right?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, when you go into business together, that's a lot of it. Yeah, it's very much like that.
When it comes to conflict, I'm just being human beings, there's conflict, right? So how is it to resolve that in constructive ways that you guys have found to really go the distance for a lot of years now? Yeah,
good question. A lot of it's just having thick skin, right? And not taking anything personal. It's we're going to have disagreements on how we want to go about doing things, or people we bring on, or whatever the case is. But we just talk it out, we talk it through, and ultimately we have to do what's right for the business.
Right. Though that's great.
Yeah. Great point. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Oh, what?
No, I was going to say that Josh, you just have some energy that just excites us. When we had you on the first time, you gave us a lot of information, but now you also have grown within this last 6 months, having your own business, and you've started some great things. I mean, talk to us a little bit about, Work Comp Blitz. What's the latest with that?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. So Work Comp Blitz is a term that we used to throw around over the last couple of years. It was just when you hear the term blitz, it's just you think of a defensive lineman, right, and just going after the quarterback, or Aaron Donald, or or just blitz. You just think of this term that is like a rush of energy, rush of productivity, whatever it is. And so Work Comp Blitz is a term that we would use, and pre-COVID, we would host these get-togethers, and we call them, Work Comp Blitz Lunch and Learns.
Right.
And so, we would stuff, 20, 25 people in our little conference room, and then we would host these monthly topics. Sometimes it was me presenting. Sometimes we would bring in presenters and have a panel discussion. And so it was just fun topics, things that I would want to learn or discuss. And it was really, we felt it was pretty impactful. Of course, during COVID, all of that just went to crap, right? So there were no more in-person meetings. There was no more, just interactions in general. And so, 4, 5, 6 months in, I started getting text messages and emails from people saying, "Hey, man, we really miss our get-togethers. We miss kind of just having that water cooler talk with other, kind of colleagues, with peers, discussing, issues, problems. That wasn't COVID related. There was so much COVID everything out there. They said, hey, let's bring back some of that content in a non-COVID way. And so as more and more of these requests started pouring in, it became just evident that there was definitely an opening, an opportunity for kind of taking that Work Comp Blitz and making it a thing. Right. And so and then along with that, because we couldn't do the in-person opportunities, that opened up a whole nother geographic, opportunity in that we could host these gatherings online, and anybody that was interested could join the content. Yeah. So then what that turned into is, I don't need to present. I would go out and get a whole lot of smart people together, people way smarter than me, high profile positions, people that other folks in this industry would look up to. And I said, hey, I'm doing this topic. You'd have some awesome insights to share. Would you be willing to join us? And so, hey, yes. Great. All right. Well, this is how it benefits you. This is how it benefits the industry at large.
Right.
You're in. Great. Well, that turned into, let's call the next person that I could think of. And hey, so-and-so's in. We'd love to have you. This is how it benefits you. This is how it benefits your company. This is how it benefits the industry at large. Are you in? Yep. Great. Then that's phone call number 3. Hey, I've never met you before, but so-and so are in. We're doing this topic, and this is how it benefits
Smart.
you. This is how it benefits the industry.
Like dominoes.
Yeah, it's like a
Bing,
win-win
bang, boom
for everybody.
So then we would host these topics. We'd have this huge, this awesome, fun, talented panel, and we would just talk about all the stuff that's impacting us, anything that was pertinent to us at the time, things that don't really get talked about, or just topics that were different.
Yeah.
And the industry at large just responded really well. We would post about it. We'd get a ton of registrants, ton of attendees, get a lot of great feedback. And so it just kept building momentum. And then, then everybody on the panel say, hey, this was awesome. My boss said, my boss saw me, all my peers saw me. Oh, wow. Everybody on LinkedIn is, I'm getting a ton of requests. They're getting feedback saying, you look smart. That opened opportunities for them. So then that turned into an ecosystem of where people now say, now I've got to, now it's a tough decision to figure out who's going to be on these panel discussions because everybody wants to be a part of it. Right. And then the attendees get a lot out of it. And so, and we do it at lunch. And the great thing about it is, it's not mandated by anybody. There's not an employer requiring you to be there. It's people. At this point, we haven't even had CEUs being a part of it. And that was kind of, planned that way. Yeah. I didn't want people that felt compelled to be there to have to be there.
Right.
I wanted people there because they were genuinely interested in the content. They genuinely wanted to learn, because those are the superstars that I want to be around, right? The people that aren't forced to have to be there, that genuinely want that knowledge to continue to grow, to do big things. And that's how I'm working on building my circle, is nothing but superstars, man. I'm cutting all the fat. Anybody that's a waste of time, complainer, I don't have time for. But all the people that want to learn, that want to do big things, that want to venture out.
See how I see it as
stuff.
like Josh, like the center hub of, and all these spokes go off of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like the connector, that's even part of your bio. It's like chief connector or whatever it was. Super connector. Do you see yourself in that way? And is that intentional, or is that just kind of like natural? It's the outflow of your personality in general, and you would have been doing this in any industry that you had happened to have landed in?
Yeah, I didn't really consciously even think about it or understand that I was doing it. It was just me being who I am, and genuinely interested in people and learning. And especially when they had that right energy, I wanted to be around those people, right? And then I was just always good at keeping in contact with people. Yeah. So when I started my LinkedIn profile, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, when I understood the benefit of growing this network. Yeah. And, I spent 1 or 2 hours a day religiously adding people, making content, engaging, liking comments. It's funny, my buddy Chad, from Amazon, him and I were just kind of, laughing about it, but it goes back to 2015. And he wasn't at Amazon yet. He was he was an adjuster at the time at Sedgwick. Right. And him and I were talking, and I was kicking knowledge and sharing webinars and inviting him out to Herma events, things like this. He's like, dude, I wasn't in a position for you to benefit at all in any kind of way, but you were helping me and you were looking out for me. And this kind of platform, this kind of idea, there's many people that can kind of testify to that, that I've always been willing to kind of help out, bring people up with me as I continue to move up in my career. And that's been central to everything, that there's never an ulterior motive. It's like, this dude's a good dude. He's well connected, or he's got a lot to share. He's got insights. He can help motivate or inspire people. And so that thing to me is just part of me. And then now that I've got the Modern Rain platform and the Work Comp Blitz platform, that's given me just more, a bigger platform to reach out to people that I don't know, to say, hey, look, you're a superstar in this industry. I've never met you before, but this is why I'd love to connect with you.
Yeah.
And this is how I can help you with your platform. This is how I can benefit, how the industry at large can benefit. And ultimately, it can give you some more visibility. That can lead to more opportunities. And I've seen that firsthand. So that's that. I guess that's the super long answer to your question. I think this is just in me.
Yeah, that's cool.
And who I am.
Yeah, and I think you get that excitement once you start seeing people like Chad. You helped him out, and Cedric. I mean, just like little hints and stuff, whatever. And then seeing him now, risk manager at Amazon, that excitement makes you want to do that more and more and more. It's like wildfire, it's like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime that you see the people that you've mentored or tutored or just shared knowledge with or imparted whatever sort of expertise that they think I have, and you see them move along in their career and they continue that upward trajectory, and somehow they give back some sort of props or some sort of thanks, and I always deflect, man, that's always you guys. I just saw something in you guys that I helped point out, or some opportunities I helped kind of lead you in that right direction. It's always that person, but if I can help along the way, either spark something in them, inspire them in some kind of way, or just help them see a lane that they didn't see and they go for it, man, that's
Dude, I have this theory, okay? The theory is something like this, like if you, from a good-hearted, honest place, are putting out good stuff to the world, or to the universe, or to the community, without ulterior motives, just value, or content, or information, or even connecting, even like tapping somebody on the shoulder and say, hey, do you know this person over here? Even though you get nothing out of it on the front end of that. If you do that long enough, I know that those seeds that you planted, that you reap way bigger than you ever thought, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the long tail approach, you know what I mean? And we've tried to have that same mentality too with our T.O.A. universities and our podcasts and stuff like that we've done. You know what I mean? You've done it to the ninth level, the nth level. But it sounds like you kind of are along those lines. So like you, at the end of the day, you need to sell insurance, right? Because you're brokers now, right? You got to sell insurance. Well, when you put these on, there's no direct sales probably happening in that moment, but it's not about that. It's about creating this intersection of value, and you're the traffic cop in the middle of it. You can't not be benefiting from that in some way, somehow.
Sure. Yeah, I think the value is just. I just feel like I'm the value guy. If I had to update the LinkedIn profile, or if I had room for more in my title, I would add the value guy. That's just my thing. Is helping out, giving information, giving data, sharing, contacts, whatever it's going to be. And ultimately, you're right. It does circle back in a sort of indirect kind of way, whether it's, hey, I'm top of mind anytime they think of something, 100%. Or they have claims issues and they want to ask about how we do this, or they want a recommendation on an attorney, or they want to know, hey, do you know any openings in the industry, or whatever it's going to be. Then you're right. There's those opportunities that ultimately fall into our lap that are never kind of direct sales.
Dude, front door is the hardest door to try and get into ever, right? But the soft back door, after having relationships built and giving value for a long time and never an ask, dude, top of mind happens. Things get referrals, that happens. You know what I mean? And so that's how you build a career.
Absolutely.
So that's been our motto too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
I went back and I listened to our podcast from January 28th, 2020, and I listened on a high speed, to be honest, two times speed. So we all sound like chipmunks. But what I got out of it was this: like if I had to boil it down to one nutshell that you had said in that interview, you said that you surround yourself with the best. You advised that for yourself, and you advised everyone else: surround yourself with the best. Mm-hmm. And I can say honestly, and I'll say this in full disclosure to the world listening to, is that now I'm also a client of Modern Rain. I'm one of your clients now, because and the staff that you have, the team that you've put together, you and Zach, and now Martine and John and the others that I've interacted with, has been superb, dude. It's definitely, you're walking the talk, and you surround yourself with the best. And you were able to save me, and this is my own little personal anecdote, but I was going to have to pay a lot of money for a cyber insurance policy. I was about to have to renew, but then luckily your team and you swooped in and saved me from wasting those Benjis, and able to get me a great policy that satisfied what I needed it for, but that also saved a lot of money. So that was just a little. So anyway, dude,
I appreciate
you're walking
the commercial in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah,
that was awesome. Well,
surrounding yourself with the best was my point, though.
Absolutely, and surrounding yourself with top talent is just critical to your success, right? I need to be around people that are smarter than me, that are pushing me to think bigger, to just think outside the box. Again, outside of that traditional kind of mindset. And when you've got people around you like that, that are just constantly pushing, that are just driving, they're just doing big things. It inspires you. And I don't allow any hate. I don't allow any negativity in my circles. I just don't. I don't have time for it. Rather than that, it's the opposite. It's pushing each other to do better, right? I've got some accountability circles, or power circles, and we meet regularly with a lot of these folks, and it's just, hey, what's been going on? What are some of the positive things you guys are doing? How can we help? And we're texting each other, hiking pictures or. Quotes or just books that we're reading, but stuff like that. And it's just elevating
little
everybody.
Nuggets of inspiration.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. In fact, when we had our vision board get together at the beginning of the year, that's another, may have segue there, is we had a little get together at my house. There's about 30 people at my house, literally the day after New Year's. So Sunday, January 2nd.
Right.
And on a football Sunday at 10 in the morning at my house. Wow. We had 30 people.
And I think
this is the height of COVID.
You started inviting people the day before or something like that. It was not a lot of notice, right?
It was a couple weeks before.
Oh, it was weeks before? Okay.
Yeah, a couple weeks before. And so it was an inspiration that I had. And I said, hey, we're going to have this get together. We're going to do mimosas and breakfast burritos. Yeah. We're going to all hang out, but we're going to talk about our goals for the year.
Yeah.
And so yes, there was a lot of that. There was some networking, and we had a blast. And then we all started working on our vision boards, and then we started talking about what we wanted to accomplish, and everybody's kind of sharing their goals and just motivating each other right out the gate. The start of 2022. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. Yeah. And then there was already little mini circles setting up, follow-up meetings to gauge, how everybody's doing on these goals and how they're accomplishing these things and keeping each other updated. But man, and I told everybody there, it's going to be an annual thing. We're going to be doing this every single year. You can book it
January
the day
2nd.
after. Yep. Or that Sunday, whatever kind of makes sense. But that's the idea, is that we're getting big picture thinkers together. But I want people focused on big picture ideas and goals and how we're going to accomplish them, and by helping them physically manifest by writing them out, spelling them out, cutting pictures out, and seeing it all the time. But that's just what I've decided I wanted to do many years ago, was just surround myself with the top talent. Yeah. And there were some high profile names there and some big people in this industry. But that's the whole idea, is that I want to be around those people, because it's pushing me every single day.
Yeah, and I mean, taking it back to Work Comp Blitz, I was thinking about, you were saying inspirational, right? You get these top talent, you put them, they inspire each other because their brains in their own way, and they get excited in their panel, and they're talking about it, which intrigues the attendees, which they get super excited, and that's how you get repetitive people coming to your Work Comp Blitz and everything. That's what we've tried to do in T.O.A. too, and I think we've done a great job. But you
guys are doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, you've been on our panels too, and
absolutely,
it's been awesome getting those great minds talking and excited, because you get excited when you talk about certain things, and then people are like, hey, that's a great idea, and how about this? And then everybody's like, oh shoot, I want to listen to that. Yeah.
Well, and that's
the energy. Yeah.
Thank you. And that's a really good point. And part of what I've been working to put together for Work Comp Blitz is give people that aren't used to being on the speaking circuit a voice, right? So that was a large part of what is driving this, is I want people that traditionally have not been at the RIMS conferences and the CLMs and all those other, the people that have been fresh talent, fresh blood, fresh perspectives, and also people that are working their way up in whatever they're doing, in their career and in life. But that's the people, the next generation, that modern reign, right? That the new rule of kind of changing of the guards. That's what we're looking for, is to help elevate people that traditionally haven't had that voice, and to show them that, look, people do care about what you have to say, and then here's a platform to do it. Let's share it, and then you likely have some takeaways. People have some takeaways from you, and ultimately that's what's really kind of driving a lot of the excitement, is that it's people that they haven't heard of before, right? And that fresh perspective. It's like, man, this is cool. This is different, and I like how different wave are doing things, and of course the topics have to be different. I won't put my stamp on it if it's not something that I would attend. Every single webinar, seminar, conference, whatever it is that we put on, that's the first box that has to get checked. If I wouldn't join it, I won't put it on.
Right.
I simply won't.
That's true. I've noticed you kind of have like an edge to it, to the kind of an intriguingness about the stuff that you put out. Like it's never just the same old lame stuff that any conference would have. You know what I mean? But it's always like kind of like a little sizzle on it.
Yeah, it has to be. It has
escaping the claims desk. You know what I mean? It's like I picture Harry Houdini. Like picking the lock to get away from the computer. That's awesome, dude.
Well, I appreciate that. And the escaping the claims desk is something that really is kind of. I use this term because I was on the claims desk, right? And we kind of went over that. I spent 13 years at State Fund, AIG, and Sedgwick. And so during that time, as I was kind of moving my way up, is just, there's so many people that are stuck. There's so many people that feel like they cannot leave, right? And they're like, well, I'm a lifer now. And they're miserable. And they go in every day just dreading Sunday and, high
Sunday
blood
night
pressure.
Blues, dude.
And, oh, man, anxiety starts to set in.
Yeah.
And so when I use that term escaping the claims desk, the first time I used it, that I had this post that I did went viral. Right. And so many people tagged it. So many people shared it. It was like 15,000 views or something crazy like that.
Wow.
And it really, really struck a chord. And so, and everybody said, hey, I love this concept. Like, can we build on it? And so that's part of that's going to be one of the series on WorkComp Blitz is an escaping the claims desk series. It's going to be bringing in people that have escaped in various capacities, whether it's moved to the broker side of things, moved to the employer side of things, moved to the marketing side of things, moved to consultant to starting their own business, and then also kind of putting together like a seminar of a blueprint of what you need to do right now if you are looking to transition, whether it's account manager. First of all, just lay out the options. So many people don't even know what's out there,
right?
And just even know what kind of opportunities are there for them. You've got what folks don't realize in this $1 billion industry of workers' comp, the entire it all revolves around the claims examiners and their knowledge, and I mean everything revolves around them, right? Of course, the injured workers having claims, but those claims examiners on the front lines, and so you have firsthand access to how a claim is handled, how it's supposed to be handled, all the vendor partners that go into it. You know the inner workings of everything. You don't know the back end business stuff, but once you know the inner workings of how a claim works and how it's supposed to work, then it opens so many doors. You've got all the technical expertise that you need to find a way out, right? And it's just a matter of sometimes having someone kind of hold your hand or just show you what that blueprint looks like, and you can figure out where your strengths match up to take on that next role. And that's what I get excited about, man, because when I can tell you firsthand, the best day of my career is when I left the claims desk.
Wow.
Right? It just opened up. It was just changed the course and the trajectory of my life, literally.
Wow.
Right.
And I've also taken on so many mentees, informally and formally in some cases. Right. And let me pick your brain, or let me do this, and say, hey, absolutely, I'll walk you through. And I'm more than happy to help those kind of people, because I know it can literally change your life. And the stress, the blood pressure, all that other stuff, man. Being an examiner can be soul crushing.
Oh, dude, it's a tough job.
Super, super tough. But at the same time, what the folks that are on these desks, they have so many skills, and they just need to know how they can translate, and that there is a path. And then you've got to have a game plan to get there. Hope is not a game plan. You need to have a strategic plan to work on your certifications, your education, to meet people, to network your tail off, to see those people that you see as mentors, go and chase them, and then don't be afraid to ask them for help, and then just get a game plan. Go to as many events as you can, soak in as much knowledge, and then you got to get out there and
what do you say to those people who are maybe listening and who this resonates with them? They may be feeling stuck, and they have the anxiety on Sunday nights, and it's not, they sense that it's not really going the way they had hoped in their careers. But then they hear somebody like you, and they're like, dude, I'm not like Josh. I'm not like Mr. Connector guy. And I'm not going to start Modern Rain, and I'm not going to do all these blitzes and, lunches and burritos and mimosas at my house. That's not me, But what do you say to that person who maybe would be
Well, first, I think to me,
tending to just shirk off the whole thing and throw the baby out with the bathwater. What do you say to that?
What I would say is first, you got to switch the mindset. First, you got to decide that you want out, right? Once you decide, hey, I want out, then it's a matter of figuring out how you get there and how to do it. So it starts with understanding I'm done. I'm done, and I want to transition out. That has to be the first step. And then once you commit to that, then it's a matter of switching that mindset and not thinking I can't do this, I can't do that. I can't. It's what can I do? What am I really good at? I'm really good at educating employees or injured workers. I'm really good at educating employers on the process. I'm really good at working with attorneys. I'm really good at settling cases. I'm really good at closing. So you just got to figure out what those strengths are. Then you got to figure out where that transition is. Then once you understand what's out there, the legal field, the marketing field, the account management field, the broker field, the employer field, the legal field. I may have said that. So that you just figure out where my strengths are, and then you got to identify sort of the mentors, the experts in that industry. How did you guys move out? And then find people that have made that transition. Every single one of those segments that I just mentioned, I know people that have made that transition from that field to invest literally everything: business owner, consultant, investigator, run an investigate, everything, literally everything. Wow. So you pick sort of where you think your interests line up.
And be yourself in the midst of it.
Absolutely.
Because we don't need another Josh. We got the one right here. We got a great one, and I don't need to be anybody else.
One Josh is too many, I think.
And I don't need anybody else. Todd is fine, and I got my lane, and Rick. So like everybody can find that authentic version of themselves.
But you just have to commit. You have to decide. Okay, I'm really done with this. I'm really done, and then I'm going for it. And then you just gotta network your tail off. You gotta study your butt off. You gotta emulate those. You gotta identify those people that you feel are the mentors that you would like to be, and then figure out how they got there. And it just takes work. You got to work.
How can somebody get better at networking who's shy, maybe a wallflower? I consider myself pretty not that like outgoing, you know what I mean? Like a little bit more introverted type, but I've had to develop some skills in order to get anywhere. I've had to, get better at it. So, but what do you say to like the Todds out there who are like the shyer type and quieter?
The shyer type is definitely it's going to be a bit tougher, but you need to start off by realizing that, hey, this is going to benefit me. In the long run, this will benefit me. Yes, I got to break out of my comfort zone or just my shyness or whatever. And the best way to do it is find someone that's outgoing that you've got a good relationship with and say, hey dude, can I piggyback off of what you're doing? Can I just ride the coattails? Cool. First of all, let me just go check one out. Right? So pick one and say, I'm going to go to this one. And I'm going to go to that one. And then start off small. Go with a friend. You don't have to be shaking everybody's hand and throwing business cards at everybody.
You can just
don't
need a car salesman there, right? You don't need a...
No, let me just check it out. Let me just see what it's about, first of all.
Right.
And let me just see how people interact and sort of what my lane. And, half the people there are going to be shy too.
Just like that.
Right? And so it's a matter of, hey, connecting with someone, finding someone else that you know already. There's plenty of vendors that are attending. So pick a vendor that you currently work with. Say, hey, Todd, hey, I know you're going to that networking event. Hey, do you mind if I just tag along? And I just want to see how you work it, right? And I just want to see what you guys do. And then, hey, if you're there, you're going to know some people. You're going to have some clients. Hey, do you mind just introducing me? And then, shake their hand. And then, hey, how are you doing? Hey, so what do you do? This is what I do. Oh, really? You probably know so-and-so, so-and-so. Oh, yeah, I know that. We go back 4 or 5 years. Oh, that's great. She moved to this office, or he's over there. Great. So then it just starts with a little conversation. You get back home, you collect your 5 business cards, and then you send them an email, you send them a text, you send them a... If you're comfortable with that, depends on how the conversation goes, right? Or you send them a LinkedIn message and just say, hey, it was super cool meeting you. Hey, remember that Dodger game that we talked about? Dude, that was so awesome. Or, hey, remember we talked about the Cal State Fullerton baseball team? Well, what a crazy, or your dog, whatever. Find 1 or 2 little talking points and then circle back and say, hey, that was so cool. Hey, I really connected with you. Hey, you think maybe we can meet up for coffee in a couple months, when this project is done or when this and this happened? Hey, you're local. Let's do, we're both in, Brea or Anaheim Hills or whatever. Let's go meet up for Starbucks at so-and-so. And that just starts with that. Just start slow. But that's just one example of how I would recommend you piggyback off someone that you already know is going, with a vendor that's going to be there, with a coworker, with a peer that's going. Drag someone with you and just say, hey, dude, like introduce me to the people that you're there. And that's an easy way to just kind of transition in. And you don't have to be the Josh. You don't have to be the annoying guy shaking everybody's hand.
Another cool thing that I saw in the wild when I watched you at our event in October of last year at our Work Comp University was you were there, and you became like a connector. You brought people over to me who I didn't know, and they didn't know me, but you introduced us for no reason other than just because maybe there could have been some synchronicity there potentially, and you would have got nothing out of it if there had been, or there wasn't, whatever. But like, so I just saw you go into that role and like you kind of connecting people together and bringing conversations, making stuff happen, and dude, that's quite a genius kind of skill. I have to say, I have my hats off. I mean, you're not doing it in any kind of like schemy way or zero, just showing up and giving value to the room, and that's one of the ways you did it.
Well, it goes back to just being around good people, right? If I've met someone and I can vouch for them as a person, as a business person, and everything that they do, then I want to introduce them to other people, right? I want you to meet my buddy over here because he's really good at what he does. Yeah. You're really good at what you do. Hey, I want to connect you guys. You guys need to meet. You guys haven't met yet. Are you serious? Well, hey, Todd's throwing this half-day conference over here. He's managed to get all these several hundred people here. You need to meet the guy who threw this thing. Yeah. So come on over here and meet him. That was cool. And hey, and this guy's really smart too. He should be on one of your next panels. Like, let's make that happen. Yes. And so exactly it's just a matter, I don't even consciously think about it. It's, hey, I see two really smart people that I happen to know. They're both in the same room. You better believe I'm going to get you guys to meet. And also, I think maybe where the uncanny is kind of skill or just the natural, talent that I've been blessed with is is to understand how they can each work with each other on the fly.
Oh,
hey, you need to work with so-and-so, so-and-so.
Yeah,
right?
Thinking on your feet about this connection with that connection, that could help those people.
This is the value of him meeting you and vice versa.
Yeah. And when you can identify that, then, or when I can identify that, then I think that's just the added bonus. Hey, yes, you guys need to meet each other, but this is really why you need to meet each other. And he's got an awesome, you got an awesome podcast. Hey, and maybe this person is looking to increase their visibility and wants to, just have a platform to talk about, so-and-so. Well, hey, this is the perfect guy for it, right? And so that's, I think that's really where I can kind of shine, is knowing sort of how they can each benefit each other.
Right, exactly right, dude. So, I had a whole laundry list of some of the projects that were going on with you.
I got time, let's do it.
Touched on some of them. Let's see, Work on Blitz, Modern Rain, this May CEU event. Let's talk about that with Angel. You guys are planning something out in Temecula area.
In May. May 12th. And so really excited about it. Angel's really kind of taken the lead and the charge, and super proud of everything that she's, kind of built and put together. We had this idea, last year about, August-ish to do some different things. Yeah. And a conference that would bring together a bunch of, risk managers, risk professionals, claims professionals, with topics, again, kind of along the lines of some of the things that she's doing with Beauty and Beast and Business, some of the things that we're doing with Work on Blitz, and kind of just marry those two things and just say, all right, it's going to have a different twist. It's going to be topics that people aren't really talking about. There's going to be some TED style talks, going to be motivational. There is going to be a career development component, which is really important to both of us,
right? And
really just kind of flip the idea of kind of the status quo conference kind of on its head. Bring in, again, that fresh panel of speakers, really talented advisory board to help us out with thoughts, ideas, game plans, strategies. So we're, so that we've got really smart people kind of helping us out and helping, kind of think through ideas and flush stuff out. So it was kind of taking all the concept that we've just discussed today, right? Surround yourself with top talent, the fresh perspectives, fresh ideas and concepts, all of those things, and just kind of marrying that, and then offering that up to as a conference, and doing it in a venue that could be fun, kind of different, and
a little bit of wine thrown in never hurt, right?
That always helps.
That always helps grease the skids. We're also, full disclosure, we are also proud to be the education sponsor that day. So
absolutely,
people get their CEUs through us, and we'll have our table and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, we're definitely glad that you guys are going to be there, and you guys are handling the CEU component, which is a big part of it for everybody. So we appreciate you guys being there.
That's like a little feather in our cap that we have developed over the time, and we've gotten pretty good at it. So now we're like just kind of doing that, and we've been asked to do that at bigger and bigger venues, like the Dana Point thing, the work comp, what's called the risk conference. Yeah, that's great. We're doing that again. We're their education sponsor, and so it just puts us kind of like accidentally in front of a lot of people that that we can help by giving value, but also maybe they'll need a court reporter someday, and they'll think about us.
It's not accidental. You guys have busted your tail to do all these things to make this stuff happen, and you guys have an awesome conference room, and a couple of
we're in our Brea suite right now.
Yeah,
Thanks,
so this is it's gorgeous, and I could envision you and I were talking about this hey, this could be an awesome opportunity for some educational events, kind of live in person audience, a little bit.
You got me thinking, dude, because Josh always, no matter what, Josh always thinks bigger than I think. So like I'll come up with a little idea, like, hey Josh, and then he'll like exit, 10 exit. So, but your thing of like having all the cameras and the different angles, and actually turning this into like a real sound stage kind of, and with stuff built in. It would be awesome. So sweet, dude.
It would be awesome. And so, I mean, shoot, even some of the roundtable discussions that we've got planned for Work Comp Blitz, this would be an awesome opportunity because you guys could record it, right? And then again, there's that live component potentially to have folks here kind of listen in.
Yeah.
I think it's just an awesome setup what you guys done, and then also just a podcast idea. I kind of told you about this the first time we met. And that's awesome that you guys are now 60 in. Right, and so that's kudos to all that you guys have built.
Yeah,
and that's value too, right?
We slowed down in COVID because the Zoom ones weren't as good. You know what I mean? In person is where the magic can happen. The body language and just feeding off people.
Yeah, the energy. You could feel the energy.
Yeah, but so now that hopefully COVID is more behind us than it was, then we'll be able to resume and kick out some more episodes, get up to 100, 3 digits.
Yeah, well, it's cool too because it's a platform just like Work Comp Blitz is or any of these other things, right? People get to tell their story, and if someone can connect to it, or someone somehow something that we say here, kind of resonates, or it's just a platform to share an idea that doesn't maybe fit in a topic or doesn't fit, on a post or something else.
Right.
It's great to kind of dig in, and I like how you you often dig into the person's mindset as to how they got to where they are, right? And so that's always important. I've always enjoyed listening to people's stories because that inspires me, and there's usually some triggers in someone's life or experiences that kind of really set them on that course to say, hey, I'm going to be a nonstop grinder worker because of this, and this,
right?
And I always love hearing those kind of stories, and you connect with someone on a way deeper level when you know the real reason behind, or some of the reasons why they're successful or where they're at, is
for sure, dude. We had Brent Rose on here like a couple weeks ago, or earlier this year, and
Brent's my guy.
Totally, dude, totally. And we got into a lot of personal stuff on his story that was super impactful, and I think that's the value, because we're all human beings, dude, and we're here for showing up for work reasons, at first, but when you can tap into like the real humanity there and get into somebody's real story, it's so much more.
Yeah, he's got an awesome story, super inspirational, and I just love being around positive people that have done awesome things, and he's one of those people that genuinely cares about people too.
He does,
right? And that's just my circle. Like if someone's going to be in my circle, like they have to check all those boxes. I just don't have time for just someone that doesn't, or just a jerk or negative and any of those things. Right. So
there's nobody like that in this industry that I've ever seen. I'm funny. Hey, moving down my list, 100 cups of coffee. What even is that? That's like this concept of, explain the concept. Where did it come from, and what even is it?
Yeah, so this 100 cups of coffee idea came from Nicole Patterson, and she's the work comp manager for Aramark. And I got an email one day, and she's been on a couple of webinars with me, and so she sent me this email that said, hey, we're doing 100 cups of coffee. I'd like you to join. Here's my Calendly link. Sign up for it. And I said, well, immediately I signed up and I said, oh man, I'm stealing this. Yeah. This is an awesome idea. And then of course, as soon as I saw this, I started thinking like all the things that I would use this for.
Yeah.
And so I signed up. Her and I had an hour-long session on I think it was Saturday actually. And it was just catching up. Just how are things going? What is your focus?
What are you
looking to do? It was a Zoom. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She's in Chicago area.
Yeah. Okay.
I think so. Okay. So we connected there, and then she told me she had the idea from somebody at her work that was 50 cups of coffee in 52 weeks, and I just thought that's too slow. That's too slow.
Too slow.
And she thought the same thing. She thought the same thing because she obviously upped it to 100. And so I said, I'm doing this. I did this, and so I posted it on LinkedIn, and I was super surprised. I mean, I didn't go on offense. I literally just posted it on LinkedIn, and within a handful of days, I was booked out 6 weeks. I couldn't believe it. And I said, whoa, what the heck? Like, why are so many people
Yeah.
that interested in booking coffee with me? So then I started getting text messages from people saying, hey, Josh, I want to sign up for this cup of coffee, but man, you're booked through Thanksgiving. And it was like the beginning of October. I said, oh crap. All right, well, let me go and add a few more dates.
Slots.
So I had a 7 o'clock time frame that was calculated.
It was always at 7?
It started at 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 to 7:30, because I get people that ask me all the time. I get 20, 30, questions in my inbox.
Yeah.
Can I pick your brain about stuff? I want to land a new client. I want to do this. I got a job interview, a claim question. I said, okay, but I'm super busy. I'm always willing to give up time, but you have to do it on my terms, right? So it has to be at 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's going to eliminate
Most
some
people.
people right off the bat. So when I did that, it was kind of calculated for that reason. So 7 o'clock, I had 6 weeks booked out. So again, these text messages. So I said, all right, I better open up some 7:30 slots. So I opened a 7:30 slot. Same thing, 6 weeks booked out. I said, crap, geez.
And so by this point, how many had you done? Like, you already reached
I
the
was
50?
like a week in at that time.
Dude.
So then
crazy.
I started, this is a week in. So now I'm having 2 a days, right? So then I said, this is still 6 weeks out. I'm going to have to book some Saturdays. So every Saturday, 7 o'clock, 7:30. And
Oh my
same thing.
God.
I was still booked. People were booking on Thanksgiving. And because I forgot to delete that date. And so then that turned into still being busy. So then I booked a 4 and a 4:30-ish when I was coming home. Those ones I was just kind of doing, just setting up the camera, in my car. I'm like, hey, this is all I've got left. And people are like, I'll take it. So anyway, needless to say, this 100 cups of coffee turned into 250 cups of coffee in 100 days.
Whoa.
And it was a gauntlet because it was fun, but it was I had committed to it, so I was going to do it. And of course, I wasn't going to cancel on anybody. Right. So I had committed to this, and that's essentially hour and a half, 2 hours a day that I'm taking out of my time.
A lot of coffee.
All these businesses.
You're wired, bro. Like,
towards the end, it was was water and tea. But and I say I'm just not drinking coffee on this one. But it was it was a ton of fun. I got to meet a whole lot of new people. I was
going to say a whole new crop of people that probably you had never connected with.
Never connected with before. That and the great thing is, they had an interest in meeting with me. So it wasn't going to be a waste of time because at least one of those parties was interested in meeting with the other party. It's not like going to a networking event. You meet someone. It's like you got to spend the first half hour figuring out if it's even beneficial or whatever the case is. Here, they already knew that they wanted to talk to me, so I knew it was going to be beneficial. And so it was great. I also got to connect with people that I had known before, but not on a super deeper level, deep level. So it was just just awesome conversations. No particular agenda other than I wanted to hear about what your goals were and then figure out, hey, if there's anything I can do to help you out, let me know. So people would tell me, hey, I want to land this account and walk me through. And so I said, hey, I'm an open book for half an hour. You got me for half an hour. If you want to spend the whole time, figuring out how you can land this white whale account, then let's go for it. Let's discuss it. And we did that. Some people just wanted to talk about, hey, I got claims issues. How do I deal with my supervisor? Or, hey, how can I learn from you? How can I be on your panel? What I want to escape the claims desk. It was just a myriad of different things.
Wow.
Super powerful, dude. I didn't know that was going on.
Yeah. I learned a ton.
I mean, I saw it, but it came and went.
Yeah.
Because it all got compacted into that 100 days. But, dude, changing
so
people's lives potentially. Some of them, if they take the advantage of that time as the free consult, basically.
Well, and so the funny thing along with that, and I'm glad you brought this up, is people have asked me, what did you learn from like all these cups of coffee? And several people have asked me that. Like, you spend all this time, 100 days, 3 months ish.
Yeah. What's the takeaway for you?
What's to learn? And then so I said, it's a good question. Let me start thinking about it. And I put together like a list of 10 things while I was doing a run. I'm texting myself all these different things. Yeah. And so I might do a podcast or a blog about it or something, or even like a TED style talk, but it's crazy, like the things that I took away from it.
Yeah.
And some people some people are ultra. Well, first of all, if you can join on a Saturday at 7 o'clock, then that tells me a lot about that person, right? That person they're serious about having some sort of takeaway. They're serious about learning. Yeah. So that in itself says a lot. You're willing to give up, the part of your morning, especially if you got kids or, you got to get people ready for school or whatever it is. So that tells me a lot. The fact that you're willing to book at 7 a.m, that says a lot about people. And then it's crazy how much people have like all these goals and dreams to do stuff that they just haven't acted on, or that they just don't know how to do it, or don't know why, or they just don't know how to get started. Like there's so many people have so many awesome ideas that are really, really smart, that are really driven. They just don't know where to get started, or they don't have a mentor. They don't have these things. So eventually I'm going to put together a little talk about the 10 or so things that I learned from this 250 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
Dude, 250 cups of coffee. Each one was a half an hour, right? So.
Oh man, some of them went longer. Yeah.
Oh, dude. So I was trying to count how many hours you spent.
Yeah. So the 7 o'clock, I had to stop at 7:30 because I was butting up to something else. But I had a couple of Saturday ones that went 2 hours. And that we had awesome conversations with, that turned into like business opportunities, that turned into like big projects. I mean, there was some, man, I get fired up. And when someone comes with the same energy that I have and open-mindedness, and we start talking about something, you know, it just spirals, and it's just like, hey, I don't need to jump off. Like I'm super intrigued. And when someone can bring fresh ideas or kind of spark something in me, I'm pretty relentless.
How do you recharge? Because no vessel can just be always, high
RPMs.
Well, higher PMs and constantly flowing out. You got to like fill in too. You know what I mean? So like, what's that for you on a personal level?
Man, it's tough to turn off, especially right now where I feel like I'm seeing the Matrix. Like I've got all these ideas and all these things that
the grids and everything's going.
It is, yeah. So my escape is working out. Spending time with kids. Right now I'm coaching softball. So like,
still have time for that? The softball?
I have to make time, and that's the benefit too of being an entrepreneur, or being a business owner, that you have the freedom to dictate those terms. And I didn't have a lot of things growing up. I didn't have a lot of things growing up, but one thing that I always told myself is that I'm going to make time for the kids for anything that they need, right? So school plays, or softball, or whatever it is that they need. If I have the opportunity to be there, then I'm absolutely going to drop whatever I'm doing, because that's why I'm busting my tail for everything,
right?
Right. The reason we work so hard is for family, and so it would be silly if I sacrifice that to do that.
Especially these years, because your kids are young, right? You got 3 of them, right?
You got 3, 8, 6, and 2.5.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's the reason. That's the reason I'm busting my tail for all this. Is to provide for them and give them all the opportunities for them to be better than me and all those things. So part of that needs to be, if they got something going on, or I get voluntold to be coached,
that's good.
To be coached, then that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to YouTube my tail off until I figure out how I get how I become Tony La Russa or Tommy Lasorda or whatever.
Right.
But so that's the benefit, and that's the blessing too. And that's when people ask me, what are the benefits of being an entrepreneur, or benefits of being owners? Because there's a lot of, right off the bat, people think of all the craziness and all the uncertainty and all those things. But the benefit is, man, if you got to do something, you do it. And it's just a matter of time. Hey, Zach, I'm going to be out. I got this, and this. All right, do it. It's the same way for him.
Right.
So that's the lovely part, and the blessing that comes along with that is, and not everybody has that. My mom would have never been able to do those kind of things. She couldn't take off work. I mean, she was a waitress working double shifts, and she couldn't go to her boss and say, "Hey, my son's got baseball. I've got to what?" Yeah, because we were barely surviving.
We need you at work. Yeah.
So that's the blessing.
That's an amazing blessing, dude. And the fact that you recognize it and that you're just leaning into it all, dude. You're firing on all cylinders, dude. This is really cool to see somebody like this, Rick. I'm talking to Rick now. Yeah. Rick. Yeah. To just sit and observe and watch somebody like Josh just kick ass and be who he was meant to be, finding your stride, your rhythm, your purpose, and it's not surprising to me that you're finding it by giving away first. You know what I mean? And it's just, dude, it's going to create all this fruit in your life. And it already has, but I believe that the best is yet to come, dude. It's big stuff.
Yeah, no, I think we're on the precipice of some awesome things, and we got a lot of things in the works, a lot of irons in the fire. But
one of the irons in the fire was, and I don't know how much you care to talk about the Titans thing. What do you care to say about the Titans?
Yeah. So the
Titans of comp.
Titans of word comp. Yeah. So it's kind of double meaning. I'm a Fullerton guy. I'm a Cal State Fullerton guy. So Titans, but Titans obviously means the juggernaut, right? Juggernaut in the industry. Right. And so we're having a gathering at my house next month. And we're sort of just handpicking the superstars that and clients that we want there, and it's just going to be a fun networking event with taco guy and bartender, and just and a lot of friends in the industry, and we're just going to have an opportunity to kind of hang out, chat, just network and have a good time. Right. And acknowledge those people for being standouts in the industry. So, it's just something cool that we're
So if somebody wants to buy tickets for this event, they just call 555-1212, or what's the number again?
Sorry. No, we're capping it at 50. We're capping it at 50.
Because this is in your own backyard. So your poor wife has to, not poor wife, but
she loves it.
She likes the partying, throwing.
No, she doesn't.
She loves stress.
She knows I'm in my element in those kind of things, right?
Great.
And we've had a couple. We had the vision board gathering. We had 30 people there.
Yeah,
and
the Modern Rain launch too,
or
that thing was there.
Yep. So we had a few of those, and this will be a little bit bigger scale, but. She knows that I'm in my element in those kind of things, cool. And it's kind of like that power connector, being around.
Yeah.
The circle of talent. The just all the things that we talked about. We're going to be able to accomplish that and reward sort of the people in our circle. You know what I mean? And so that's it's a lovely thing, and it's going to be exclusive, and we're going to have a great time, and I can't wait.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Did I forget anything of the big irons in the fire that's going down my list, or anything that you thought we should have covered, or big picture, little picture?
This is your guys' show, man. I'm just here to do my thing, but no, I think you guys covered a whole lot of stuff, man.
Hey, do you still go to the Parmas and like the other events that are at the Ramses of the world and stuff like that? Do you personally go there anymore?
Yeah, I do my best to make all those marketing events.
What I like about what you're doing though, dude, is you're creating your own lane, dude. You're creating your own things, and we've tried to do that ourselves. We have our T.O.A. University, now called WorkComp University. We're doing a lean thing this month, March 25th. Shout out to Charlie Camarino.
Charlie's awesome.
Partnered with her to put on just all about leans, and that came about from fruit from our October event, and we would never have...
It's paying off.
Yeah,
paying off. You guys are doing some good things.
So
man.
It's so we're kind of like we're shying away from some of those other networking kind of opportunities just because we've so booked with our own stuff. But do you find you're kind of in the same boat?
Yeah. So I mean, we've got a lot going on. And then like Parma, for instance, the kids had their first game. Or second game, and so just had to be there for that, and for the afternoon, evening stuff, and we're busy with everything going on. So if it's worth my time to go, then I'll absolutely be there. If the content is good and it's something I can genuinely learn from, I'll be there.
Yeah.
If the networking opportunities are going to be solid, then I'll be there. But yes, to a point, I'm definitely creating those lanes and kind of generating those circles.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily have to be there, but I love going to those things. I love the energy. I love that now that we're several months kind of and open up post everything that we can do that. So yes, I think the short answer is I enjoy going to those events, but there's a lot of stuff going on.
It's funny, dude.
If I can, I will.
Rick doesn't know this, and nobody except me and you know this, I think, probably. But last Friday,
that you guys are touching toes right now.
No footsies allowed.
They're sitting next to each other. That's why.
That's funny. That's funny. No, like Josh calls me last Friday. And he said, dude, you won't believe this. What happened? I'm like, what? Because last Friday was February 25th. Okay, just happened to be. He's like, all right, Josh, you tell it. If you care to tell it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no,
tell us.
It was a rookie move for sure. So it was a crazy busy day. Plumber over at the house, just all kind of craziness going on. And so I thought you mentioned Charlie. So the March 25th event, for some reason, I put it in my calendar February 25th as a placeholder. Yeah. I must have said yes while I was on the phone or in the car and just kind of put it in my phone. So anyway, I'm racing off to head there, and I drive to Ontario, and
he drives from his house.
Yeah.
Yep.
All the way to Ontario.
Yep. Full suited up, the whole deal, ready to rock and roll, ready to go support Charlie and the team. And I get there, and my brother had just flown in, and so I was only gonna be able to stay for like an hour, and I had the jet. So I get there, and the parking lot's pretty empty. I'm like, this is weird. Yeah. So I get off, and I'm like, oh geez. I look up my email, and sure enough, it said March 25th.
Sure enough.
And so I called Todd. I'm like, hey, Todd, just as an FYI, I'm an idiot.
No, dude.
And then I'm like, man,
you're still human.
I'm like, but just so you know, I was all all about supporting.
Yeah.
And that was the takeaway. And so
I love that story.
So yeah, it was a long ride home.
But you told me that you got a lot of good calls in on the drive. So you made some, made hay while the sun shined.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I'm really good about, and the one thing I always encourage anybody that's ever on the road is
maximizing the
time. You've got, depending on what your commute looks like, half an hour. And so that all right, great point. When you ask how can someone that's maybe an introvert work on their networking, is every day that you're on the road, that's an opportunity to touch. I call it touch, right? Touch 2 or 3, 4 people. If you spend a half an hour each way, make 2 15-minute phone calls. Check on someone that's in your circle. Hey, Adam, just calling to check in, see how things are going. I heard you I heard you had Todd on your podcast. How are things going with you? How's everything at Cheesecake Factory? What are you learning? I saw you did the nonprofit stuff. How's that going? Hey, great. Love it. Hey, I've got this podcast coming up. I've got this, webinar coming up. I'd love you to be on it. Great. Cool. All right. Talk to you later. Boom. Next phone call.
Will you leave a voicemail if the person doesn't pick up?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Basically, it's saying all that stuff that you would have said.
Yeah, and that's still a good touch. Hey, so-and-so's thinking about me. All right, so Josh was thinking about me today. He called me, and I'll tell him, hey, no need to call me back. I was just thinking about you. I had some time. I was on the road, just checking in. Hope all things well. Hope the family's good. Hope work is good. Just checking in. I'll call. We'll check in soon.
It's really good.
Now move next. But you got to be calculated, right? So if you're really going to maximize the time doing that, the night before, you need to know who your 4 calls are going to be. Right? Don't freestyle it. Don't freestyle it. I mean, you can, but I mean, to maximize it, you know that, hey, I've got my list of 5 calls that I'll make. And if they're not there, boom, this is who I'm calling next.
In the day of email and texting and stuff, a call is still prime king?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I mean, so it's kind of strategic. Right. I mean, I'm not going to call someone that I haven't touched, or don't really know very well. I probably won't.
Okay. That's more of a LinkedIn way, or like
there's and that's the other thing too. I mean, someone that really wants to network their tail off. I mean, I feel like that's a whole seminar kind of course or whatever in of itself. Yeah. But I mean, that's the easy low hanging fruit is when you're in the car, man, you got to make those phone calls and just to check in, just say how things going. I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm not trying to get them on a podcast. I'm not trying to get them on whatever. Dude, I just want to see how you're doing, and you'll learn so much in that. And that's how you strengthen those bonds, strengthen those ties with people. Right. And then, hey, Josh is a good dude. He was just checking on me to see things are going. He remembered that my kid was playing softball. He remembered that my wife had surgery. He remembered that boom, 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 boom. Right. And it's like, hey, just checking in, see how things are going. Everything all good? Anything I can help out with? No? Cool, man. Hey, glad to hear everything's well. Talk soon. Boom.
I love
next touch.
Dude, I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you and I'm going to practice.
Yeah. On the way out of here.
I'm terrible. Yeah, right after this.
Well, I feel like I call you once a month, right? No, legitimately. And sometimes, hey, Todd, how things going? Just checking in. All good? Hey, like how the podcast going? How's business going?
Yeah,
cool. All right,
sure.
Cool. We'll check in.
For sure, dude. You definitely walk the talk, dude.
And it doesn't need to be an hour call. We don't need to get Oprah on each other. It just needs to be, hey, dude, I'm just checking in, see how things are going. And sometimes the text messages works too. Hey, just checking in. Holidays or whatever.
Right. If the relationship's at that level. You know what I mean?
But that should always be something that you strive for, right? That's the other thing. Yeah. For anybody in a new business perspective, anybody that wants to network, you got to always strive to get to that next point. You start off with a cold LinkedIn message. Hey, I've never spoken to you before. I see you as a leader. I love to chat. I'd love to do coffee. I'd love to see you at the T.O.A. event. I'd love to do whatever. Boom. Get there. What's the next step? Hey, let's get your email. All right, cool. Hey, I've got this cool webinar coming up. You would love it for these reasons. I'm gonna blast that over to you. Cool. Hey, now follow up after. What did you think? Oh, that was great. I love this, and this. Oh, you like that panel? You want an introduction just to so and so that was in there? Oh, for sure. You do that for me? I got you. Send me your text. Send me your number, and I'll make a text intro. Boom. Cool. Boom. All right. Boom. So then, all right. Now that you got that, hey, now you're kind of in my circle. I've got some free time. Right. We haven't talked or chatted in 3 months. Hey, how's it going, man? Are you interested in being in one of these discussions? Or I've got this and this going on. Are you gonna be down at Dana Point? Like that kind of thing. And then boom, that's how you weave them in. Right. And I don't say weave like it's organic. It doesn't feel forced. And as long as you're genuine in what you're discussing about, it's like, hey, I'm not trying to sell you something. Hey, just checking in if things are going, and genuinely interested in how you're doing, and whatever you connected on, touch back on that. People remember that, and then they always remember how you make them feel, man. If you call and you're venting and dumping on somebody, I won't pick up the phone next time you call.
I know.
You know what I mean? But hey, you're calling me to uplift me or share good news.
People always remember how you made them feel.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
The minute I remember what you said.
Right. No, and I agree with the whole phone call thing because you can hear emotion on a phone call instead of a text message.
Oh, 100%.
It can be somewhat dry at times. So just picking up the phone, just giving a call, and just. I love that idea. Yeah, great advice.
It's a no-brainer, and I think networking and education are kind of 1 and 2 in this whole industry as far as everything that we do. Right? Yeah. If you need to be connected and you need to be on top of everything going on, and you want to hear from the smartest people because they're usually the more sophisticated or running bigger programs or whatever. So like those 2 things to me are just no-brainers. I don't even think of it. I just do it.
Yeah.
And that's something I recommend for everybody. Just starting slow though. Just like the networking thing. Just start slow, work your way up. Okay. And then you'll get there and you'll feel more confident. And it's like with anything else, it's reps. Right? That's the Arnold Schwarzenegger autobiography. Is his big thing is everything he did was reps. You're prepping for a role, reps. You're prepping to be governor, reps. Speeches, reps. And so the more and more you do it, the more and more confident you'll get, the more and more...
Dude, you had 250 conversations with 250 people. Those are reps, man.
Yep.
In 100 days.
Well, and even...
That's crazy. Right?
Yeah, and so...
Because you're sharpening your skills, too. You're doing your thing in each one of those conversations, and they're all organic in their own ways, but it's like a rep.
Yeah, absolutely. And even like the webinars, right? When we first started putting on the webinars, and I would prep I always prep. I over prep for things, but just rehearse and have like a written out kind of drawn up intro. Man, now I just I keep it super light, and I think people like that. It kind of shows in what I do, but it's just. The reps build the confidence.
Oh yeah,
whether you're cold calling, whether you're networking, whether you're doing a claims project, whether you're presenting a claims review, if you're a claims exam, whatever it is, the more and more reps you get, the more and more confident you get. The more confidence, man, then you start thinking like, hey, I can try new things. Yeah. I'm gonna introduce this idea.
Then it's
I'm gonna approach this, and then it's like a snowball effect. And then other people see what you're doing, then they see you as a leader, and then that builds more confidence. And then you're like, man, now that I'm seen this way, now I want to reach out to people that are higher level than me or on par, see what they're doing. That builds more confidence, that builds the network, and then you hear how they're doing things because you're networking and doing these things. Then it's just a snowball, and then that's how you become a beast, man. But you have to work at it. You just have to work at it. If it's not, you can't cross your fingers, you can't hope. You got to put in the work.
Right.
Amen, dude. Josh, you've been a great guest, dude. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you coming back.
Appreciate it, man.
Giving us your energy. I look at you as a leader. I look at you with such inspiration and admiration. Dude, happy to be your friend too, and to have you on this podcast, and to check in now and then, and to see what these things that we do jointly and what we do, separately. But it's just killer, dude. Watching what you're doing, and this industry is better for it that you're here.
I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it. And you guys are doing I love that what you guys are doing from the educational standpoint and, the podcast. I said it before, but, in this industry, you got to differentiate yourself, right? And so you guys are doing that. And you're giving people a platform, which people love and appreciate and admire too. So you guys are doing good work, man. Keep it up.
I love it, man. Thanks so much. Where would you like the hand up for people to reach out to you? How was the best way for them to do that? Yep.
So you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Josh Diggs, obviously. Email jdiggs, DIGGS, at modernrain, REIGN.com. WorkComp Blitz website is actually going to be up and running this week.
Great.
That's something I'm super...
I saw a cool promo video you shared in your pocket.
Yeah. So we've invested in a lot of technology on that front too, man. We're really excited about that. So the website will be up, workcompblitz.com. And then you can follow WorkComp Blitz on LinkedIn too for any webinars and those kind of things. But man, if it's not that hard to reach me, and I'm always responsive. And
easy to find.
Yeah, and I give out my cell phone to people too, man. But I'm just always available for people. And even if I'm in the middle of a meeting, it's hey, I can't talk right now, but when I'm on the road, I'll give you a call.
There you go.
So that's my thing, man, and that's what's kind of helped me, just get to where I'm at, and just the kind of open book that I am.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the T.O.A. Storytellers podcast. I'm Todd Olivas and Rick Castro.
Yep.
And Josh Digg, thanks so much, man.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Appreciate it, guys.
Bye.